Getting the camera set up here. Alright. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to do these all the time. They're probably going to seem like overkill. But there are a couple of cool things I want to show you today. As always, before we get rolling, we are roll the intro music. Yeah, Olympus Reptiles. And don't forget about our sponsors at TGR Racks. Okay, now that's out the way. Don't you bite me. What's up? We got a couple things up. And, I always have a snake picture on the tag, so I want to show you that. And this was the snake pictured. This is, of course, our female banana we hatched. And it's pretty awesome. Love all y'all, too. So, that was what was on the cover. We put her back, because even though she was on the cover, that's not what this video is about, right? It's about some fans sending a swag. So let me tell you what happened. And it's kind of funny. Yeah, I know most of you probably saw our rattlesnake bite fake video, right? And that thing's had all kinds of love, hate, and everything in between. One of the things that happened was there was a guy that works for an EMS out of Pennsylvania who watched that. I was like, holy shit, he thought it was real. So anybody who questioned my acting skills, we fooled some pretty cool people, right? Which is the name of the day. So he thought it was actually happening, and he started getting the medical helicopter mobilized. Well, he was looking for us to, and I'm missing the comments right now. I'm telling the story, so I'm sorry I have to come back with some of those that are already all disappeared. But he got the helicopter mobilized, was like getting it ready to rock, trying to find where we were to come, like, save my life, which is really cool. Like, that is awesome that somebody was willing to do it. Of course, then he realized it was a joke and had to call and shut the thing down. And I see that one comment, social serpents. I'll get to that actually. But they sent us as kind of a, giving them a good laugh. They sent us a really cool life flight calendar. So I want to give them a shout out for sending us some swag. So these are the guys who are going to come and make sure, guys and gals, who are going to come and make sure that I didn't die. So thank you to all of you who are in this calendar for making sure that I was going to be alive. Even though it wasn't needed, I do want to say that I am really happy that people like you are out there and were willing to come check on me and drop everything all the way from Pennsylvania and save me if it was needed. So they also shot me a really big poster of the helicopter that would have been on its way. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to share that with you guys because it's neat. The other thing we've got, do I Instagram much? I did see that. I personally do not Instagram. We do have an Olympus Reptiles Instagram, and camera guy Kurt handles that. And occasionally something will come up on there that, is a question for me or something I need to deal with, and he'll let me know. And he does all that. So, yeah. Still going glow, not yet. And then my ex-brother-in-law made this for us and sent it down with my nephew. And I thought that was pretty cool. So you'll see this hanging up. I don't know if I'm going to stick it yet, but definitely somewhere. So we got our own little American flag, Olympus Reptiles. Pretty kick-ass. And that was a swag I wanted to show you. Yes, Blythe, we will be doing a Patreon video live. Funny thing, my my ex-brother-in-law who made this literally just texted me. I was on the phone, on cell phone while I'm recording. And every time we do a live video, we will do a Patreon live. So for you Patreon members, you're always going to get a follow-up live video when I go live here. You'll always get some of your own personal time just for you. I think that's important. I think it's the way it should be. So that is going to happen. But that was a new swag. And have I ever fed African soft furs? Yeah, I feed them all the time. Like, I go back and forth, and I know people say, oh, they're going to get stuck. I mean, I guess it can get... The problem with being next to Reaper, Cody, is it's all glass next to Reaper. Like, literally, he's by a glass window and a glass, or a glass door and a glass window. But, I go back and forth. We raise African soft furs. I use them to start a lot of my babies on if they're a little finicky. I use them on finicky feeders. I use them to get animals back on feed, and then we go right back to rats after a few meals. I've never had a huge problem. Somebody did missing going Uper quitting YouTube. And I will touch on that. He did ask that nobody commented or going and doing anything crazy, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. And he's also not the only one who has recently left the reptile YouTube community. You know, we had another one, Rude Dog Reptiles, also dipped out. He's got his reasons, and I will say that I'm sad to see him go. I'm sad to see anybody, you know, get out of this portion. I think this is an important way to reach out to people, get your face out there if you're going to breed and make customers. And so I hate to see that for him. I hope that maybe one day after a while he'll get back into it, but we'll have to see. One thing I'll tell you from my standpoint on YouTube is not, if you ever choose to do this on your own, not everybody's going to like you. That's just a fact of it. You know, there are people that I know out there who hate my guts, and they would just assume I was no longer using oxygen. So you're going to have those folks. You just are. And, you know, now it's different though when you got family involved, and, you know, you got to make some choices sometimes if it's what you want to deal with or what you're not, and I respect their decisions. I respect both Rude Dog Reptiles and Gwen Euper's decision. So it is too bad to see him go. And he does seem like a good dude, you know, and the times I've talked to him, he's always been very helpful. He's been very good to talk to. Does that mean he's perfect? Nope. Neither am I. Neither is anybody else giving him a hard time. You know, and it all kind of comes back full circle. I mean, it's, you know, what happens there is a microcosm, okay, to like the same thing that Brian deals with. It goes, you know, the bigger your channel gets, the more of it you're going to deal with. You know, we deal with it, but on a much smaller scale than, say, somebody like Brian or Viper Keeper. I'm sure that dude gets a ton of crap, too, that they have to deal with. But you're always going to have it. You're going to have it. It's going to come from different angles. Maybe somebody doesn't like what you did, or maybe you did make a mistake and somebody's just not going to let it go, even though you've come out and said, yeah, I screwed that up and this is what you should really do. Maybe somebody took it, something you said the wrong way when they shouldn't have. I know that's happened for me a few times, and I've taken other people the wrong way, you know, or just maybe sometimes it's plain old-fashioned jealousy. That can happen too. So it is sad. It is sad for both of them to see both those guys leave. And, well, I know Gwen Euper a little bit. You know, I don't personally know Rude Dog Reptiles, who also left, but if we're going to talk about people leaving, I think it's important to keep both those guys in there. And yeah, he doesn't. And that's the thing, too. I think you've almost got to be that way if you're going to be on here. You know, your skin needs to be about this thick, not this thick, because, and that's not a knock on anybody. I mean, but you just, because people are going to say shit. They just are. You know, they just are. I've been called names. But it is different depending on how you look at it. So, there's that. And it sucks when it comes from one, I guess, corner. They just won't let something go. And that's happened now to a few people in our hobby. And that's sad to see. And I'm not calling anybody out who are not trying to get in any drama. But since the question was brought up and I saw it, you know, these go so fast. I miss a lot. But I've never been one to shy away from a question. So it's just, if someone asks, I'm going to answer it. A small community, people choose to stir the pot. You're always going to have that, though. You know, reptiles is no different. Like, this community is no different than any community in life. You know, if you're part of the car community, you get your Chevy guys and your Ford guys, and they're going to fight and bitch and moan sometimes. You got, you know, it doesn't matter. You get, if you're in the firearms for sport community, then you have your guys will tell you that this is the best thing ever made, and, you know, these guys say, no, it's this one over here, and they're going to fight and piss and moan. Every hobby community has a little bit of that. And yeah, it is unfortunate, because at the end of the day, you know, especially the two I just mentioned, ours and the firearms community, they have to band together, right? And Max Morph, I agree, as long as you are doing things right. But the other question, the flip side of that coin, you know, is what's right? I may do something different than others. You know I do. I know there's things I do right now, that if some people saw it, they would lose their shit and say how horrible the person I am. And I've never hit it. The thing I'm thinking of, if we want to be very technical, is where I place my thermostat probes. I literally place them in the tubs. And everybody says, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't place them in the tubs. You shouldn't place them in the tubs. It's all over Facebook. Don't put them in the tubs. Oh my God, they're going to fry. They don't. I do it a certain way. They go in the tubs. They're locked down. I'm not going to explain all. We've done videos on it, on how to do it. And I've had zero problems. And so, what's right? there's more than one way to properly care for something. There just is. There is not any gospel, this is the way it has to be done, this is the book. If you're getting good results, your animals are healthy, your animals are doing well, I think you're doing something right. It's the whole tub versus tank. It can go either way. And there's not one that's right or wrong. But you're right. The animals come first, right? Before views and followers. I agree. But I also will tell you this. I'm a big believer in that if you are constantly doing things wrong all the time, and your animals are shit, and your care is shit, and everything else is shit, and you're trying to run a reptile channel, you're not going to keep those people there. You're not. They're going to find other places of information. A lot of people who I see do reptile channels, their channel is kind of quasi-reptiles. And you can even put ours in that category a little bit. We started our news show. We've started some other things where we're kind of branching out from just reptiles and doing a few more things that are still maybe reptile related, but they're not directly about just our animals. And, even the big channels, I'll throw Barjack under the bus. His channel's a lot of family vlog stuff. This is what we're doing now. Me and my wife are going to go here. We're going to do this. And that's okay, too. So it's not... Some of those views and subscribers and things aren't just there for just the reptile things. They're maybe there for some of the other stuff that people do. But yes, if you're going to be a reptile channel, you got to put your animals first. If you look back, we did a how to be a YouTube snake channel or how to be a YouTube reptile channel. We said, show reptiles, talk about reptiles, right? And you got to have healthy, good reptiles. If you're showing these sick, crappy animals, it's going to go bad. And if you're going to show a sick, crappy animal, you got to give a reason why. I'll give an example. If I was just running a channel and I pulled this animal out without explaining it, oh my goodness, you look terrible, people would give me crap. And that's because if you look, you can see the spine and the skin. And if I'm like, hey, I'm a reptile channel, check out my snake, people would be like, oh, that looks like horrible. But what you should do if you're going to show this is just explain, she just laid 10 eggs, literally 2 days ago. So then you go, oh, her look makes sense. So you do have to put the animals first. And be careful what you show when you show it. And when you do show something, explain it. That's certainly a big thing. You will. I agree on that. But I'll be honest, I don't necessarily think that was the case in that one. There's always things people can improve on. Now on the Rude Dog Reptiles one, I've watched a few of his videos, but I haven't really watched enough to have an opinion on how he does things. I don't. Might be good, might be bad. No, didn't watch that much. But on Youpers, the things I've saw, he always was trying to do things the best way he could, and he was always open to things, so I do hate to see him be gone. That's just my feelings. I hate seeing anybody leave. But, right, and as far as feeding live, I do feed live. I'll be honest, 90% of my collection's fed live. The one exception is my carpet python, and that's because he won't eat live. But yeah. Good. I wasn't sure, so I'm glad you kind of cleared that up, Mac, that in general, I am 100% in agreement with you that, yeah, if you're not doing things right or you're not trying to do things right, you're going to be found out pretty quick. So anyway, I couldn't agree with you more on that. But yeah, I do feed live, and I know that gets a lot of people's panties in a twist, including my evil overlord YouTubes, who I love and worship, but sometimes secretly hate. And yeah, sooner than later, go live. We're talking about live feeding. If you have a snake that laid eggs, you want her back on food quick, go live, go small. Whenever I have an animal that just laid, I go with a live meal. I go with a smaller meal than I was feeding her before. That's very important. You got to remember, they haven't eaten in a long time. They're a little less confident. They want to catch a prey item overpowered, especially when she's really weak like that. And don't expect them always to eat the very first thing you offer. I know that snake I just showed you. I know her very well, and I can tell you exactly what she's going to feed on its mice. I'll get her on mice. I'll have to feed her mice for a few, and then after that, she will go back to rats. So that's going to happen. I just know. I've bred her for the last 3 years, so I know exactly how it's going to go. Once I'm sent by the killer bee, I can show her to you. Of course, anybody who's followed us for a while, y'all know this is one of my favorite animals I've ever made because one of those first skulls. But really kind of a cool creature, right? I love this thing. So that's the killer bee. Let me put her back up. Oh, there you go, darling. Because I think she's working on cooking me some eggs. I saw something about a crested gecko. You know, I'd have a crested gecko as a pet, but I really don't anymore pick up too many things as pets. Most things I have are working, or I have all the pets that I need. I don't need any more. Thanks, Max. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, we've done a few videos on some geckos that we do at our reptile shop, at the retail shop, but I'll be honest, I'm not a gecko expert. And that's something else. We're talking about, in general, you know, things that you want to do or you'll get found out. When you're on a channel or when you're on social media and somebody asks a question of you, just like, you know, you asked about geckos, and you hear me say, man, I'm not really a gecko expert, so it's hard for me to do that. Be upfront about that. You know, don't be afraid to say that I don't know. And yeah, my snakes or my females are fat. I try to keep them feeding really well. So we've done a tour of the shop, and I'm sure we'll do another one when the zoo opens, where I'm being told, so I'm going to go ahead and say it here, that completion of our cages should be done April 30th. So then we'll start adding stuff, and hopefully we'll be going soon. Venomous snakes on my list, Gaboon and Rhino Viper. But I'm, again, waiting on our zoo to get done. Hopefully it's scheduled on April 30th. We can start adding stuff. USDA told me to go ahead and get the animals once that happens. I also have to comply with some city ordinance stuff. They have to come in and do their inspections before I can add non-native venomous species in there. So, yeah, my partner in crime is probably with his girlfriend. Unless you mean Question Girl, which she is upstairs cooking some dinner. So, yeah. Pretty cool. Hey, Heather, glad you figured it out. We will be on Patreon, though, too, soon. All right, guys. Basically, I popped in here to show you the new swag we got from some of our fans and family. It's Olympus Reptiles related, because I think it's pretty cool. And can't wait for those vids. Which vids? Oh, the zoo vids? Is that the ones you're talking about? Because we will definitely be doing some zoo vids. And then probably a spin-off. Do I ever work with boas? You know, my first snake was a boa. It was just a normal male boa that I got from my high school teacher. So I have had boas, but when I got back into snakes after time away from having my boa I had for years and years and years and years and years, I then got my carpet python, which has been documented pretty well too, and then I stuck with pythons. And I'm very hesitant to put boas in here because of the scariness of, or how scary IBD is, inclusion body disease, which a boa can carry, and then it will show up in your pythons from curtifers. Was that like, what the hell is curtifers, Jen? Anyway, that can cause havoc in your python collection, so you would know your boa had it, and then it could wreak havoc. The last boa that I worked with at all was one we rescued out of the house here in Kansas, believe it or not. One of those, we got a phone call, hey, there's a boa here, and I thought, horse shit, there ain't no boa there. But okay, I'll drive over there 15, 20. I actually called the PD, who then called me when I wasn't working, and I said, yeah, I'll go check it out. And me and Question Girl are on the way over there after dinner talking about Kurt plus Jennifer is Curtifer. I don't think that's going to catch. I really don't. But let's go for it. The Daily Zeus. And anyway, so we're kind of guessing what we think it's going to be, what native snake that some guy is saying is like a boa constrictor. And then when we get there, no shit, it was a red-tailed boa. Just like, he already caught it. So we took it and we kept it here for a while in a separate room. I had to treat that snake like it was in quarantine the entire time I had it. So it was basically quarantined off even like the whole time. And now it actually lives at Kurt's house. So Jennert, I like Jennert better. Jennert sounds like a weird yogurt brand. You're like, oh, some Jennert Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt. Can you have the timepiece? Like this thing? This thing's kind of old. Found it at a pawn shop. I mean, it was like $30. All right. It's not a problem because this is what you need to show. Yeah, I can't though. I can't. Like, not because I don't want to. We actually show a live feed every Saturday on our Patreon. We can't on YouTube. Every time I do a live feed video, they come down and they bust me out. Other people are allowed to do it. Other people are allowed to feed their rattlesnakes. Other people are allowed to do all that crap. But Olympus Reptiles is not. And every time Olympus Reptiles does that, YouTube comes in and drops the hammer of Thor on us and screws us over. So we kind of have shied away from doing live feeds on YouTube because they'll eventually, if I continue to do it, cancel my channel. So can't do that. Any long-term projects in the making? Yes. Yes. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. They probably are mad because I wear purple. But you know what? I love me some purple. Purple is my favorite color for a multitude of reasons. So, since I've had like 4, where's Zeus, where's Zeus, where's Zeus, let me get the most famous Olympus snake out and talk about those long-term problems. Or not problems, those long-term projects. Yeah, they won't allow me to keep them. It's bullshit. So, this is the beginning of all those long-term projects. You know, making Zeus was this huge, huge thing for us, but he also was kind of the beginning. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put him through some pastel exanthics. I have some fire yellow belly head exanthics, and the plan is, I also have a pastel yellow belly head exanthic, maybe a firefly yellow belly head exanthic. The plan is that I want to make this as white and black as I possibly can. So, yes, I have noticed many other channels that show it is completely discriminatory. I honestly do feel like we've been discriminated against, especially when I contact them by email and they won't give me any response other than check the community guidelines, and then they say we didn't violate the community guidelines in their own emails, but then they just say, but we're going to age restrict you anyway. So yeah, it kind of is a discriminatory practice, but there's not a lot I can do about it. I mean, you know, unless somebody on here is an attorney and wants to file a class action for us, we'll take it. Is this alive? Absolutely, it's alive. See, look at that. Bloop, bloop. He's my buddy. This is, you know, my favorite ball python I have. So, how you treat the Scott snake. He gets spoiled. He gets very spoiled, and he'll be the man with many girlfriends one time. So, you know, this is what started it all. This is a snake I saw a picture, well, not this one, because I made this one, but this morph I saw a picture of and just went, oh, I gotta have it, you know, and here he is. He's not even a year old yet. He'll be breeding next season, and I absolutely love this thing. All right, guys, well, let me hop up. No wobble, notice? Yeah, there's wobble. There's always wobble in spider. But that's just it, guys. It's not as bad as people say. Watch him. We'll wait for it. Well, he didn't do too bad there. It's usually an up and down thing. Up there you really can't see on the camera. I'm trying to watch him and worship at the same time. Woohoo, scared you. Didn't mean to scare you. See there? Up there it was. Now he's trying to figure up and down. And that is it. It's just that. So it's no big deal. All right, guys. I want to say thanks again. Is he for sale? Absolutely not. We took him to a show because we were out of stock. So we had to like build him almost out on our Denver show. He went there just to show off. I did price him at the Denver show. His price was your left testicle, your right ovary, or your firstborn child. So that was that. And no, I wouldn't. Kurt's going to yell at me now for saying that. But I'll be honest, genetically he's not worth $5,000. He's not. But he's worth that to me. So he stays because of what he is for us. All right, guys. Thank you to each and every one of you. We're going to hop off of here now, and we're going to switch over to the Patreon account.